have been.
Where did you dig up that old fossil?
Going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
That's no move.
We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
Welcome to the Star Wars Nerds podcast. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
Have you tried the new Popeye's chicken sandwich yet, Kenton?
Why no, Dan? I haven't. Why? Where are you going with this?
I don't know. It's such a huge debate right now. Nothing to do with Star Wars, but certainly an interesting marketing competition, I guess you could say, between Popeyes and Kentucky Fried Chicken, or KFC, here in Canada. You pointed out an ad, right? Was that a full page ad in like the Globe and Mail or something like that?
Yeah, it was a Globe and Mail ad, but not mentioning Popeyes. And in fact, I said I should probably know who they're talking about here.
Right.
And Chris Schiffman jumped in, like,
Of course he did.
like he's wont to do, and he was like, "Oh no, they're talking about Popeyes." And I was like, "Yeah, I think I did know that."
And
actually,
in fact, Chris was one of the first people I saw that had posted a photo of him eating the Popeyes chicken sandwich. And I tried it, and it's really good. I got to say, it's excellent. And then the other day, KFC had a promotion. They have their quote unquote famous chicken sandwich. Now, the sandwich isn't famous. It's the chicken that's famous, of course, from KFC. So they get around a little bit of wordplay there to get around. It's like saying a radio station is the number one hit music station, when in fact it's not the number one station. They just play number one hit music. So the same kind of idea. So the famous chicken sandwich from KFC and the Popeyes chicken sandwich. And I have to say, I prefer the Popeyes chicken sandwich. I think it was much better. They're both good. They're both fine if you like chicken sandwiches. But I did prefer the Popeyes. I thought it was excellent.
Well, let me add to the debate, because yesterday I went to a local restaurant, Cafe Carlo.
Good for you for supporting local.
Why not?
I should do that too more.
Well, so I went to Cafe Carlo, and this ties in with exactly what you're talking about, because for my money, Cafe Carlo on Lilac Street in Winnipeg has the best fried chicken on the menu. I think it's
I have to go now.
It is amazing, and you can actually get it for pickup too.
Oh my god!
But it's delectable, and of course, because it's like slightly upscale, it's probably definitely more expensive than Popeyes and KFC. But holy, like, you just, with a beer, what could be better than that?
I'm there. Fried chicken is my jam. It's my kryptonite. It is the best. My favorite food in the world is fried chicken. So I will absolutely go there and check that out. Great plug for that restaurant.
Well, let me know what you think. And I, of course, I mean, I'm going to have to try the Popeyes chicken now that everybody...
Yeah, well, everybody's making videos and stuff. Yeah. And what's interesting to me, just before we move on to real Star Wars stuff, is that, Popeyes has been here for a year, maybe? How long has it been in Canada? A while. I'm sure in other cities more than Winnipeg, but it's been in Winnipeg for about a year. And they didn't have the chicken sandwich on the menu when they moved here, even though it was already a thing in the U.S. I went there. One of the first times I went there, I ordered a chicken sandwich, and it was not the famous, great chicken sandwich. It was awful. The bun was too hard. It was not good. I'm like, everyone's talking about this chicken sandwich, but I realized that it was not the famous one that everyone was going crazy for. They've just brought that in now as a marketing tactic to remind everybody that Popeye's chicken is in Canada and it is a thing. So I think they did that deliberately to time that out and do that chicken sandwich thing. Anyway, all right, on to Star Wars news. Of course, we had the Mandalorian trailer, season 2 trailer dropped this week. So you were right. Were you? I don't know. When did you say that was going to happen?
Well, I thought it had to be soon, but I don't know. I can't remember what I said.
Okay.
I was close anyway.
Yeah, anyway, we knew it was coming, right? So we watched it. So it dropped on, it was Tuesday, I believe, right?
Oh,
Tuesday, Wednesday.
In fact, you were the one who
I tweeted
notified me.
It was Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday it dropped, and very, very exciting. Shall we watch it and then talk about it?
Yes, let's do that.
Show me the one whose safety deemed such destruction. You must reunite it with its own kind.
Where?
This you must determine. The songs of eons past tell of battles between Mandalore the Great and an order of sorcerers called Jedi.
You expect me to search the galaxy and deliver this creature to a race of enemy sorcerers?
This is the way.
place for a child. Wherever I go, he goes. So I've heard. This is the way.
Love it.
Ooh, yeah, it's pretty good.
It's good, and I tell you, there's a couple of moments when I get goosebumps. But overall, what were your first feelings when you saw it?
Oh, how can you not love it? It's so exciting.
Yeah,
Like a lot. It went by so fast the first time that I missed a lot of stuff. Like the gag with Baby Yoda flipping his lid.
Oh, you did. Oh, that was hilarious. I love that.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
That was the main thing. My main takeaway the first time I watched it, and it was only after I started noticing things when I watched it about 100 more times.
Yeah, and I noticed like the first half of it, it's all dialogue from the previous season. Like all that whole conversation about what he has to do with Baby Yoda, like that's all from the end of season 1. So we're not even seeing any new dialogue until like a little bit further into it. And even then, it's not very much. Like, we're not getting a ton of dialogue, right?
No, not a ton. It's and even when he says "this is the way" at the end, it wouldn't even surprise me if in the actual show he does not say that there.
Like, the only thing that's really synced up is when that creature says, "So I heard," or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. The what Cyclops Man. I think I'm just going to call him Cyclops Man. Because he reminds me of the Cyclops from Krull. Remember that movie where the guy's got the one eye? But yeah, that's the only thing that actually we see someone say with their lips moving. So that's the only thing, and maybe even that'll be cut. Who knows if that's going to be cut or not? We can't really believe anything that we see in trailers as far as being in the actual series. But there are a number of other things that we saw here. Now, okay, we see the very first shot is of the his ship like damaged, and I didn't even notice that at first, but it does appear to be damaged, and there's something wrong. The back cargo door is open. There's some smoke coming out of one of the engines, so something's happened to him. He's rounding. He's obviously headed towards that the blue planet that comes around the horizon there.
Yeah.
Right. So there's where is that? What planet is that? Do you think?
Could be Yavin.
Could be Yavin.
Or so hard to know.
Also, we have a sand person on a bantha, full on bantha, like we saw in the first movie. So that could be Tatooine. He could be back on Tatooine.
Has to be.
So it's got to be Tatooine. We also have a snow planet. Is that Hoth? Are we going to see him back on Hoth, or is this a different snow planet?
You know what I saw some people saying online about that? They said it's Ilium, the planet that becomes the Starkiller base in The Force Awakens. They thought that that's what that was. I don't know how. Why would it be one and not the other? I don't read all the novels, but somebody does, and Dave Filoni certainly does. So maybe there's something to that. I don't know.
There's something to be said. We don't need to assume that every single planet that looks like Hoth is Hoth.
Right.
Certainly, we thought that. Remember when the first Force Awakens trailer comes out and they're on a desert planet? We assumed it was Tatooine, but no, it's what's the name of that planet again?
Jakku.
Right. So they just made up another desert planet, right? So there are other planets in this universe that it could be. I don't know if I buy the Starkiller Base thing, because I think that planet has like trees and stuff on it. So I think that it was like a regular planet before they built Starkiller Base, and that messed up the atmosphere. That's why there's snow everywhere. It's because I think that's part of the reason. But I'm just coming up with that on the spot. But again, it doesn't all have to be tied in together, right? So we'll see. Like it certainly is an ice planet. It's very, very cold, and you see him walking in the snow. We see some wreckage behind him of looks like a ship behind him that was wrecked or something like that.
It's a good little shot of him and Baby Yoda.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really led me to believe that it might be Hoth, is if there's like wreckage of, the rebels or something like that from the Battle of Hoth. Like that could be what that is, but that's,
Or is that his ship?
I don't think it's his ship. It doesn't look like his ship.
Ah, that's true.
So I'm not sure. Then we see this is the one that got me really excited. What appears to be Ahsoka. In the crowd, though, this is on a it looks like a dock, some kind of a shipyard. There looks like some boats are in the background.
You know what that is? I think that's Mon Calamari, because I think.
Oh yeah.
Do you think everybody walking around has an Akbar head?
Yeah, that's right. Could be Mon Calamari for sure. Oh, I would love to see that.
Wouldn't that be good?
That'd be awesome. That'd be so cool. And then that would be also the scene later on when we see him on the boat.
Yeah.
That would be that same planet, right? If he's on the boat somewhere.
I thought that was Ahsoka too, but apparently it's not.
It's what's her face though.
No, it is not Rosario Dawson.
What?
No, that's apparently that's a wrestler, the second wrestler in this show, who apparently, and it's not Rosario Dawson.
Oh, you're right. It's not. It's not. I just paused on it. Oh, okay, it's totally not Rosario Dawson.
But as you watch it live, I thought it was too.
Yeah.
I have to be honest. I really did. I thought, where's her makeup or where's her? I was like, oh, she's in hiding or something. Like,
well, you would think that she does, like, although she does always wear the makeup in the Clone Wars.
Right.
Yeah, but everybody, that's what I saw everybody talking about that being Ahsoka, so I assumed it was as well. But you're right, it's not. It's someone else. But we might assume that person is a Jedi because he is looking for the Jedi.
And there's certainly, I've seen people saying that that's Sabine. I don't know.
Sabine's a Mandalorian, not a Jedi.
No, so. Not a right, but who knows? I mean, but you know how it works in movies where people think they see someone, then they look and there's nobody there,
right?
Which is what we see here, and it's like it doesn't happen in real life. So to be determined who that is.
Yeah, and then we have, of course, we go into there's a shot on the boat. They're on a boat.
I love
somewhere.
That.
That's a great. I love like Star Wars boats. I love anything that we don't like. Anything that we don't is not part of what we usually see in Star Wars. We don't see a lot of ocean. I mean, certainly in the Rise of Skywalker, there is some on Endor or wherever the hell they are. But generally speaking, there's not a ton of ocean shots in Star Wars.
Last Jedi, we had the rich people dining on the ocean barge momentarily, very quick.
Yeah, there was a bit of that, but it wasn't like this. This looks awesome. It's just like a transport ship. He's just going from point A to point B. He's got Baby Yoda with him.
Oh, it looks great.
That's very, very cool. And then we get to see what's the name of his ship again? I can't remember.
The Razor Crest.
Razor Crest being escorted by X-wings.
Yes.
What could that be? Well, I guess he's going to.
They're the same team. They're on the same team here. They're not fighting each other.
No, it definitely looks like an escort. Definitely reminds me of Cloud City when those two cloud cars were escorting the Falcon in.
Yeah.
So they're on either side of him. They're flanking him. But he's being escorted somewhere, maybe to see Luke or Leia. Maybe? No?
Oh, wow. Interesting. Or just to be escorted.
I mean...
But I mean, when an X-Wing opens its wings, it's about to kill somebody.
Oh, and that's what they do. You're right.
Yeah,
they do that,
so
yes.
they're facing off with something.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
But I thought about that after the fact. One friend that tweeted that he thought he would see. He said, "What are the chances we're going to see a Ewan McGregor cameo in this season?" I said, "What, as a Force ghost? He's dead. Like Obi-Wan's dead at this point."
Yeah.
But in this universe right now, who's the most famous? If he's looking for Jedi, the most famous Jedi is Luke Skywalker. Right. That's who you would go to. If you found a Baby Yoda, would you not try to get it to Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And some have noted, and now like this is once again not something that you and I do, but somebody did, which is they did a freeze frame on this, and there's people who are insisting that the droid in the X-Wing fighter is R2-D2. But how could you tell?
You couldn't. One astromech looks pretty. I mean, yeah, it looks kind of like it, but it's blurry. You can't tell. Hold on. I mean, it's blurry.
No, it
Very
could
difficult.
be and it might not be. It's could go either way.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nah.
And even if it is, maybe it's not Luke in there, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing. It could be anybody in there.
Now we got a great shot of the two characters from season 1. We've got Apollo Creed and the woman
Creed.
there. Yeah, well, that's how I think of him, as Apollo Creed. I don't remember his real name. And then the woman, of course, I'm blanking on everybody's names today, but the one who helped him out.
Cara Dune.
She's awesome.
Yeah.
She's just a great character and great. She's the other wrestler you're talking about, right? Like she is.
Yeah. She's the original wrestler.
Yeah, professional wrestler.
I'm sorry, I don't know the
badass.
other actress's name, who we saw earlier in the thing. I don't know her name yet. It's like it's just like we didn't know anybody's like even character name or anything before the season 1. sort of.
Yeah, now it's all escaped me because it's been months and months since I've seen the season 1, so I can't remember anybody's name at this point. So even Mando, what's his name? I don't know. It's Mando.
Yeah.
Then and the thing is, it's interesting. Then we see this shot of the X-wings, or sorry, the TIE fighters taking off, and then we saw that at the end of the last season where their wings are folded up, right? That's a kind of a new mechanic that we've never seen before as far as TIE fighters go, where they kind of just, as they land, their wings fold in and they land. So we saw some more of those.
And did you see the next scene that you were on right there? Mm-hmm. Back it up to that speeder bike, because here we go, and here's another thing. I don't see it, but I'm going to tell you what other people see there. If you back it up even a little bit more, what's the closest you can get that speeder bike?
Well, I can't. It's not letting me do frame by frame, but I'll try and.
Some say that what they see on the back of that speeder bike is Boba Fett's jetpack.
Well, that's possible. That doesn't seem very. I don't know. Oh, it could be.
It just looks like the back of a speeder bike. Really, I don't know.
Don't we have another shot of the speeder bike somewhere else in this thing? It goes over a cliff. There, boom.
The Imperial, though.
Yeah, there's nobody else on that.
That's pretty cool.
That was a cool shot, though.
Yeah.
I love when they take that jump. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But we know that there's a character who has Boba Fett's armor, right? We know that from what's his face from Justified,
right?
Is that character the guy who collects the armor? So it's probably going to show up at some point.
It probably will. Now I think people know that, so I think they could just be seeing it.
They're reading into it. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's very hard to pick out, just like the R2D2. Like, well, maybe, but probably not.
Yeah. All right. And then he's underwater.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was a very quick shot. The jump. I love the jump. I thought that was a very exciting. That's what really my first time I watched it. That was my favorite shot of just them going off the cliff. He's underwater 2 seconds, and then he gets his rocket pack. Did he get his rocket pack in the first season?
Yeah.
Okay, so he did get that. I couldn't remember if he got that or not.
In the finale, he's chasing around the TIE fighter.
Yeah, but that's right. Okay, because I do remember the line where he's like, "I got to get me one of those," and then he does get one. So there you go.
Right.
Excellent. Some more snow stuff. So that's the other thing that it makes me think that might not be Hoth, because I don't know that Hoth had a bunch of mountains and stuff like that. Yeah. So that could be something else different. Then we got some kind of asteroid, or what is this coming down?
Oh, good question. I don't think I noticed that. Looks like the Razor Crest entering the atmosphere, maybe burning up.
Something burning up in the atmosphere. And then we're into a boxing match, or a
Gamorrean Guard boxing match.
Yeah.
Skinny Gamorrean Guard.
Sorry, they're not boxing. They're like hitting each other with axes.
Oh, that's actually where you have it freeze frame there. That's the best. That was the best look. That is definitely.
I should have had it.
That was definitely Gamorrean Guards.
There we go.
That's Gamorrean Guards. Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
They're just in better shape.
This guy, this one guy, like with his back to us, is in great shape. The other guy, I can't tell so much, but those ones that were in Jabba's palace, maybe Jabba's guards weren't very athletic. Maybe they are much more athletic in real life than we've seen.
Could be.
But yeah, that looks like, again, it's very, very similar to a wrestling and or a boxing match, although they're fighting with axes. And that's when he's talking to the Cyclops dude. And then we see the great shot of Baby Yoda. But everyone pulls guns on them. And Baby Yoda's like, I'm out of here. And he just hits it, and boom, he's into his thing. Now, I thought Baby Yoda was going to do some kind of force thing at that point. That was what I was expecting them to set up, but no, they went for the laugh.
That's great. That's a great scene.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I guess there's a little bit more. Oh yeah, then we hear a bunch of sound effects. It's great because actually I was talking to our students this week about how effective sound can be. That's great. Just a bunch of we don't even have to see what's happening. We can just hear that he's kicking ass. And then that last shot where he gets the boom, dead. This is the way. Yeah, he probably doesn't say that just there. Like they could have just dubbed that in, right?
I think they dropped it in for the trailer. Maybe not, but it's
we'll see.
It doesn't really fit what he just did.
Yeah. Exactly. He only ever says that to other Mandalorians, right? That's really like the code that they have. So
ooh, and a new logo.
That's cool. Yeah, it's awesome. Like very, very excited. And Disney, I mean, I'm getting inundated with ads now for Disney Plus. They're stepping up their marketing campaign. I got an ad for today on YouTube as I was looking for a video to show in class. I got an ad for just all 9 Skywalker movies on that was the ad. It was a Skywalker saga on Disney Plus. So they're really stepping up their advertising for Star Wars fans. So now we're moving in, and we're moving into the into the holiday season. We're gonna see lots of toys and other merchandise and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's that time of year again.
I saw an ad too, and it was like Mandalorian and a lot of old movies coming to Disney Plus.
Oh, what were the other old movies?
They were old, so I didn't commit them to memory. What were they? They're all movies I've seen before.
Okay.
Oh, and the TV series, and they're doing a series, The Right Stuff, based on.
Oh,
the
is that
movie.
Disney Plus?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so there's that. There's a Mandalorian. I think there's 1 second of the Scarlet Witch show, WandaVision. I think they put 1 second of that in there, and then just a bunch of old whatever, this and that.
Okay. Huh.
So it's kind of like it wasn't the most powerful sales tool I thought for Disney Plus, but I mean the thing is we're all paying. I paid for it for a year just because. I mean I've hardly watched anything on it except The Mandalorian. You know?
Yeah, actually, I could say my kids are getting a lot of use out of it because we've just rewatched all of Gravity Falls, which is a Disney cartoon, and then Luke, they released a Phineas and Ferb movie, a new Phineas and Ferb movie that dropped a couple weeks ago, so we watched that, and then that got us back on a Phineas and Ferb kick, so we've been watching Phineas and Ferb, so there is still quite a bit of content on there, and every once in a while, I will watch an old Simpsons episode, and it's really nice to have them all on hand like that, because sometimes I'll remember a specific thing and I can't find the right clip on YouTube, so I'll just go ahead and watch the whole episode, and it's a lot of fun to reminisce and remember when Simpsons was good.
Is it bad now?
I don't know.
Has it
I
gone
haven't
bad?
watched it in years. I haven't watched it in years.
Me
I have no
neither.
idea. But I can tell you that not as many people watch it now as they did back 20 years ago, and those like seasons, I don't know, 4 through 10 are probably some of the best seasons of television ever made, like of The Simpsons. It's just very, very good. So yeah, there are still Disney Plus is I find that I'm still using it enough to justify paying for it. And of course, The Mandalorian's coming out, which will take us through to the new year. Do you think now they're going to be it's October 31st? Do you think it's just going to be like an 8-season episode, or what's it going to be?
Or 8? You mean 8 episodes in total?
Yeah, like because if they started October 30th, that means 1 episode per week, and they could go 8 weeks until the end of December.
Yeah.
Right? So, or they could continue after Christmas, but they don't usually do that. Or they could pull the same crap that the boys did and put 3 episodes up at once. What was with that?
3 at once and then 1 at a time after that.
Yeah, but why would they do that? I don't understand.
And the other thing is, don't release the boys the Labor Day. Or no, what weekend was it? Was it Labor Day?
It was Labor Day weekend, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so then, so Labor Day long weekend. Here's 3 episodes. That's the weekend where you can actually watch a whole season. That's like when you want the whole season is right before a long weekend. So I'm not a fan of that. And it's actually, I'm finding it less fun to watch 1 episode at a time.
I agree. And I don't see the conversation happening that they were hoping for. Like they were hoping for people to be talking about it every week, but in fact, as a quick aside, that people are so upset about the boys being released 1 episode at a time, they're giving it bad ratings on Amazon Prime. So the star rating that you can give to everything, they're giving it 1-star ratings because they have to wait till the next episode. And I agree, it's not as compelling watching it 1 week at a time. Like I can't even remember what happened last week, right? And there's a new episode today, I guess, right?
Well, well, it says Friday. It was actually up yesterday.
Oh,
now it's up.
Come on.
Now they're doing it on Thursdays, even though it says Friday. So I watched it yesterday. And the thing is, I enjoy The Boys. I like it, but I don't know. Like, so far, I don't like it as much as the first season, but I'm not sure if that's just the way I'm watching it or if it's the... And, of course, I think we're building up to something here in The Boys. I have a prediction about it, but of course, this is the Star Wars podcast, so I'll leave my prediction to myself. But
we'll talk about that on Media.
Yeah. But for The Mandalorian... Like I remember last year, I loved every episode. It was fun to soak up every episode, but it's very frustrating when you see ones that are like 32 minutes long. You're like, what? Give us an hour, man.
Well, I think that we went into this with a preconceived notion that it was going to be an hour-long episodes every week.
Yeah.
I think that was what we had in our minds, because other similar series are like that. The Boys is like that, 1 hour long, commercial-free, just like Game of Thrones or HBO dramas. And what I think it was always meant to be a 30-minute episode series. Just some of them went long. I think that's what we got. Because I seem to remember some conversation at some point, some interview, that when they talked about it being a half-hour episode. And so that's what it was supposed to be, just a half-hour kind of drama, which is unusual.
Yeah.
Right? You don't really see that so much. I mean, Barry is maybe an example of that, but Barry's kind of a comedy as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of does that. But I don't know. It's... Yeah, the more the better. And certainly I would love to have just all 1 hour episodes this season, but I can't say that's going to happen.
No, I don't think so either. And I'm curious to know how many of the episodes will be part of the journey we know he's on, and how many of them will be sort of side missions like the one that they did, the Bill Burr episode. For instance, like,
well, they were all kind of like that, like adventure of the week kind of thing. That's kind of the one thing that the Mandalorian did really well that we hadn't seen in a long time, because they did still keep this narrative of Baby Yoda throughout. But he does go to like a different planet every episode and has a different adventure and meets different people. The Bill Burr one, they're doing a heist. There's the one against the ATST walker on that farm planet. There's the one where he goes to Tatooine and meets the inept bounty hunter. And what's her face with the pit droids. So every one of those, Amy Sedaris. So every one of those is a separate kind of adventure, but they did manage to keep that through line of Baby Yoda throughout, and I assume they're going to do that going forward for this one as well.
Yeah.
Right?
And should we bring up the issue of the rumor that's been circulating online? So let's.
Yeah, you just told me about this before we started recording. So go ahead.
It's weird. I actually got a text from a friend of mine yesterday, and he said, Pedro Pascal quit The Mandalorian? ? And I went, what? I texted him back, what? And he's like, well, look at this. And then he sent me a link to MovieWeb, which is that MovieWeb is probably, of all the places I've seen this, that's the one that maybe has the biggest audience, maybe. So this is not in the Hollywood Reporter. It's not in Variety. It's nowhere. It's not in the New York Times. Like, there's no kind of news gathering organization of repute really digging into this, and they say and the story is that Pedro Pascal was upset because he's under a mask for the whole episode. He wanted people to see his face more, and so he went to Lucasfilm, and then Lucasfilm fired him or something, or he quit. And so I went to Pedro Pascal's Twitter account, and all he's been doing is tweeting all the Emmy Awards they've been winning for The Mandalorian. They did the technical awards, and he's been tweeting those. And actually, I'll check again right now. Why would you do that if you quit the show? Because as I say, like, it's a weird story. He has not responded. Like, I checked his Twitter account, and it's all full of people going, "Why did you quit The Mandalorian?" Like, all that crap. Like,
really?
Yeah, if you look at the stuff that he's tweeted, like 5 Emmys, like he tweeted, and then you read the response, like people are like, "Did you really quit the show? Why did you quit?" All of this stuff, and he has not responded to any of them.
Interesting, because you think if it wasn't true, he would respond and say it's not true.
Well, maybe. I don't know. That's the thing. It's so hard to know. So he hasn't responded. He hasn't said anything. He seems to be celebrating the show's Emmys, which would be an odd thing for him to do if he quit the show. Probably he could get paid a lot just to do the voiceover for The Mandalorian. I find it hard to believe if the guy quit in anger. Let's imagine that happened. Then you'd be celebrating the 5 Emmy wins? I mean, if I don't see this stuff in any kind of news gathering, like reputable news gathering organization, I don't know. I find it pretty hard to believe. It doesn't sound true to me. I think there was somebody tweeted it originally. I can't remember the person's name, but she tweeted that The Mandalorian doesn't know what to do with a mid-season surprise that's going to happen. And then the follow-up, and I think it was also her again, was, oh, he quit. So I think it's all coming from one source, which is a bad sign. Yeah, no, and the one I just read this article that says, usually she's good for this stuff, but I'm like, that's not enough. You can't just
go based on somebody's track record of this kind of thing, right? You have to have more than one source on this kind of stuff to think it's legitimate. I don't know. At this point, I'm not buying it just because there's nothing else out there that shows me.
Okay, so let's imagine, what if the Mandalorian, or they killed him off, for instance. They killed off the Mandalorian on the Mandalorian. Well, if that happened, then Boba Fett would be the Mandalorian, I guess.
Right.
I guess that's what would happen, right?
Yeah, or somebody else would become the Mandalorian. There are many Mandalorians in the Mandalorian, right? Like there's a whole bunch of them. They're all flying around with a rocket pack in that first season. So it could be Sabine, it could be any other Mandalorian person we've seen, or a new person, completely new person. So yeah, you're right. They could survive it if he left. You think they might just have him do the voice work and that would be it? Could they never really have to take his mask off, right?
Well, I was thinking about it too and going, okay, like, are you telling me that Pedro Pascal wouldn't take a giant payday to do the voice of the Mandalorian while other actors do all the stunt work or everything else? Like, I mean, basically that's what James Earl Jones did for Darth Vader.
Yep.
Are you telling me that Pedro Pascal would say no to that? Like, that to me does not seem realistic either. Let's imagine that he's not required to be inside the Mandalorian outfit. Okay. Like, you still have I think you could still do the show quite easily with just his voiceover. Like, his mask comes off maybe once a season, right?
I mean, maybe that was part of his contract that he had to have it taken off, but I would have been okay with if they'd never taken it off, right? Like, that's really, the character. It compromises his character if he takes his mask off all the time, because it's been shown to us that it's very important to him that he does not.
Right.
So yeah, I guess, but I don't believe it right now.
At this point, and would they use his image, the image of the Mandalorian in the logo, if in fact they knew that halfway through we were going to kill this guy off?
Well, I think what the discussion has to be, if this had really happened, and if it was like, I want to show my face, no, we don't want you to show your face, then I'm quit, or they say, then you're fired or whatever. They don't say it like that. Maybe they come to terms. They say, okay, well, we'll pay you out for the rest of the season. You've already shot this season. Let us market this season with you as you in the suit, and either we replace you. And they would have worked this out ahead of time and probably paid him a boatload of money to stay quiet, so that maybe we'll never find out.
Or paid if he makes it to the end of the season, then basically it's bullshit.
Right. Because they said he left halfway through. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That keeps saying halfway through. Everything says halfway through. I don't know how that's 4 episodes.
Yeah, that's true.
It would just be odd to me if there was some kind of a parting of ways and he's still going to be tweeting about the Emmy Awards. Doesn't make sense. And also, I think any actor, if you said to them, you're going to be in Star Wars and you are going to be the voice of one of the most popular characters, just like James Earl Jones was. Like, that's pretty, what actor would say no to that?
Yeah.
To me, it just seems like an easy paycheck.
Now, the contrast to that is nobody can tell you who does the voice of Boba Fett. Right, like
Jeremy Bullock.
Well, I know we know Jeremy Bullock, but nobody else knows the voice of Boba Fett because he barely ever speaks in the movies, but also because he was such a small character, and it's just not quite the same. And they dubbed his voice anyway. Once they established the whole clone thing, they dubbed his voice in with what's his name's voice. So
yeah, Tamara Morrison, and it actually was. I don't think it ever was Jeremy Bullock's voice. I think it was dubbed. Maybe it says.
Well, he used to sound kind of like Clint Eastwood back in the original versions of the movie. He's like, he used to be dead. He was a kind of a grumbly voice. He had no accent, but now he does have an accent.
Yeah, he's got an Australian accent.
You may take Captain Solo to Jabba the Hutt after I have Skywalker.
He's no good to me dead.
Kenton, I know you've been itching to get out to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. That's on you. As soon as you're able to travel to the U.S. again.
As soon as the pandemic is over, I'm there.
You're there. But here's a story. Starting at the end of this month, well, next week, in fact, or September 28th, you'll be able to buy select Galaxy's Edge merchandise on the Disney website, shopdisney.com, so that you can actually get stuff that's these are not like previously released items that you can get at Target. These are actual Batu, which is the name of the planet that Galaxy's Edge is. Batu specific Galaxy's Edge items previously only available at Disneyland in California or Walt Disney World in Florida. It includes lightsabers and other clothing and costumes that you can buy. It looks really nice.
I do believe some of that stuff is showing up in Canadian retail.
Okay.
I've seen some Canadian Star Wars collectors posting photos. I can't tell you what it was because I remember thinking, oh, it's kind of like the minor stuff. Like it's not. I didn't see anything there like the lightsabers or anything. It was like more minor than that. So I don't know. Maybe some amount of that is coming to Canadian retail.
It's funny they have some of it are costumes that Rey wore in the newer trilogy. Some of it's Sith robes, Jedi robes. You've even got one. The caption says, "Well, hello there." It's it's Obi-Wan's kind of tunic that he wears.
Oh yeah,
that kind of thing. So they've got some. It looks really nice. I'm sure it's all high quality and probably very, very expensive. It's not for me necessarily, but for those people who want to kind of do cosplay and that kind of stuff. And the lightsabers look really nice. Very, very detailed kind of lightsabers from the movies as well. Mace Windu's lightsaber. What else? Obi-Wan Kenobi's. Asajj Ventress. Oh, doesn't she have two lightsabers?
Yeah.
Right? She's the one with the two lightsabers that are kind of curved.
That's right.
No, that's one of hers. It looks really cool. Darth Maul, you can buy two and link them together. Now, what do these do? They don't light up like a lightsaber. Do they like have something you put on them to make them into, or is it just like the handle?
You got me. I don't know.
I don't know either. And they've also got a bunch from like Rebels. Ezra's one from Rebels and that kind of stuff. Cal Kestis. Oh, there's Cal Kestis from the Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order. So anyway, it's kind of cool that they're making these available, but again, I probably won't buy any of them.
Well, no, and I probably won't either. But I still got my eyes peeled for like I'm a more discerning collector now. I used to just collect everything, and now I sort of keep my eyes peeled for like those special action figures that. And actually, I Instagram today my photos of old Han and old Leia, like mature Han and Leia.
Yeah, from the new movies.
3.5-inch figures or whatever. And I was like, it still reminds me, like when I was a kid, to have to even think about an older Han Solo or older Princess Leia appearing in a Star Wars movie was just like, oh man, like that was the dream sort of thing. So I have those figures because it was like, oh yeah, like that. I just remember thinking, how cool would it be if they made more Star Wars? So I have stuff like that now, but I don't think I need every Baby Yoda thing ever made. I don't think I need all of that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. One, I've been doing a lot of interviews with video game collectors over the last few weeks for my other podcast for Games You Deserve. And one thing that's been kind of a common through line for these guys when I talk to them about their collections is that they're not going to collect every single thing under the sun because it's just too much. There's just too much stuff out there. And they're talking about specifically video games and cartridges, like old school, like Nintendo and stuff like that. But what they do is they collect things that mean something to them, either having an emotional or some other connection to this item or game. So it's about the fond memories. So you might, like, if you love Han, if Han is your favorite character, then you might collect every single Han Solo. Who's that? Your friend there that has the Yoda collection, right? He just loves Yoda.
But even he, at a certain point, and especially now, with all the Baby Yoda stuff,
well,
Baby
Yoda is not Yoda. Okay, let's be clear. Right. He's not Yoda. He's a member of the same race. That's it.
Yes, but every collector of that has to think about what am I collecting here?
Yeah.
Because he does have Yaddle. He does have a couple of Yaddles.
Well, that was the only other member of that species that we had seen up to that point, right? So.
Yeah, but so the question is, now do I keep going down that path, or am I a Yoda purist?
What happens if they land on the planet of Yodas and it's an entire city of Yodas?
Oh my! It could happen.
It could happen in the Mandalorian. Probably not season 2.
I keep wondering, like, what's the most satisfying ending for the Baby Yoda story, and that image seems pretty cool. Or dropping Baby Yoda off with Luke at the academy, when you've still got Mark Hamill kicking around. You can still have Mark Hamill do his dyed beard with the hair color for men or whatever.
They can do wonders with that CGI. They can make anybody look younger, right? They did it for Sam Jackson.
That would be pretty freaking cool.
Captain Marvel, yeah. They can do it with Luke for sure.
Although, if you deliver him to Luke's academy, then the thinking is, oh, maybe they killed Baby Yoda.
When Kylo Ren burned it down?
The Knights of Ren, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not good. That might not be a good ending. Delivering him to the whole planet might be better.
People are going to, people will not want that ending of that. I think most of us want to see Baby Yoda grow up. Like, I would love to see what happens to him when he grows up, which might not happen for another 50 years. Like, we don't know how these creatures age, right? So we might see a flash forward, or maybe we'll see him show up in a later Star Wars movie or something like that. But we might see a planet of these creatures. We might see a planet of Yodas, right? So we don't know.
The other nightmare, though, is, okay, so if you do kill off the Mandalorian, assume it's true, well, what kind of depressing scenario is it where he's forged a bond with the little baby and then he gets killed? That's pretty depressing. And I also think it's depressing to imagine the Mandalorian dropping him off and going, see ya, like taking off in the ship. Well, that seems, it'll be an E.T. moment kind of thing where we're all depressed. We're all crying because the fucking alien has to be separate. Sorry, I shouldn't have said fucking. Oh, I guess we can swear on this. But I was like, where the fucking alien...
You're upset about it. You're really worked up about this.
The fucking alien leaves the goddamn boy on the MF planet Earth, and we're
like how I felt about the movie Contact. Get all the way to see the fucking alien, and it's her dad. Come on.
Oh, come on. What a ripoff. And also, another thing about that movie, the first one gets destroyed. Don't worry, we built a second one.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a Death Star scenario within the same film.
It is, exactly. Yeah, they do another one. And then, anyway. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it. I don't know that there's any really a good answer for everybody that's going to satisfy everybody. Somebody's going to be upset about how it ends, I think, no matter what they do. But... the best a series can hope for, I think, is to make the vast majority of the fans happy. But we're projecting ahead to the final season.
Knows?
But it's a very difficult thing to end a popular show on a note that everybody's happy with. There's so many times that shows have messed it up and had a final episode that was not very good, including, could I add, Perry Mason, which that last episode was just horrible. I know.
Oh, you didn't like it?
Oh, I thought it was bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Why? What part of it didn't you like? I can't really remember it.
The part where the guy says, you're not going to convince him to confess on the stand. That's what Perry Mason does. That's whole show was him getting people to confess in the stand. And then the other part where the bad guy gets drowned by some freaking random people for no reason. Like, they're obviously getting revenge for their sister, whatever that he killed. But it's completely, not satisfying. I was not happy with the end of Perry Mason.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It did not bother me. Maybe because I'm not a Perry Mason fan in the same way
I'm not either, to be honest, but I was just like, that's the one thing I remember about the old Perry Mason show is that he gets the person on a stand and he gets them to confess, just like Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men. Like, that's what you get them so worked up that they'll confess to it, and then they're just kind of throwing that whole premise out right now because it's not realistic. So whatever. Anyway, sorry.
Well, save that for season 2.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Perry Mason, and there will be. I imagine there will be a season 3 of The Mandalorian, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they have to do at least.
We're not
3
wrapping
seasons.
up anything.
No. I don't think so. I think we're going to see at least 3 or 4 seasons. I don't think they're going to go too much further than that. Maybe a 5, but that seems to be like Rebels went 4 seasons. I know that animated shows are different, and certainly Clone Wars went a lot longer than that. But I think 4 or 5 seasons would be about right for this kind of thing. Especially when we have all the other stuff coming up, the Obi-Wan series and the what's his face? I can't remember. Cassian Andor, yeah. What were you going to say?
There's a second rumor that's out there about the Mandalorian that flies in the face of the first rumor. So the first rumor is he's quitting. The second rumor is there's going to be a Mandalorian movie.
Why would they do that?
I know. Something's wrong.
No, that's not. That's like old school media thinking when we got to make a movie to make the TV show popular again. Like, that's what The Simpsons did, and Sex and the City, and or they got to do a movie when a show gets canceled. They got to do a movie to kind of give some like Entourage or whatever, where they have to find one final kick at the can. Maybe we can make it into a film franchise. That's not going to happen here. They don't need to make this. Star Wars is already a film franchise. They don't need to make the Mandalorian movie. So no,
it'll be a Lethal Weapon scenario where he's like, I can't believe this is all happening to me on the day I retire from being a Mandalorian.
I thought you were making reference to the fact that they made a Lethal Weapon TV show years after the movies were done.
That too.
That was another trend. Let's do the opposite, right? Let's take an old movie franchise and try and resuscitate it through television. So,
right, exactly.
Anyway. All right.
Exactly.
I think that's about it for this week, hey?
Yeah, those are the main topics,
Yeah.
and I guess we'll find out in the coming weeks which of those rumors is bullshit, and probably both of them.
Probably.
We spent half an hour talking about 2 rumors that will probably be bullshit.
That is the fun of being a Star Wars fan in this day and age, is that we could just kind of speculate and bullshit about this stuff. So that's why people listen.
But you know what? Okay, and then we'll really be had. We'll know we've been had if in the middle, if the last of episode 4, if the Mandalorian gets shot or something, then we'll all go, oh no, it's true. And then the episode 5 comes and we find it's just complete, it was bullshit. And they put that, they're basically got us all set up to thinking he was going to die.
Yeah, you're right.
That could be true.
Yeah.
That could be a leak, a fake leak.
But honestly, I can't see that we would know a difference because we don't see his face. So they could have, even if he left it halfway through shooting, they could finish the series with one of his stunt doubles and then fake his voice or something. They could have done that, or just had him do the voice. I don't know.
That would be easy to do.
It would be, yeah, very much so. And Pedro Pascal is not that famous of an actor that he can afford to turn down work like that. Like, it's fine if he wants to quit on the the premise that he needs to show his face more, but he's not a well-known name yet that he can pick and choose his jobs. I bet you he still has to audition for stuff. You know what I mean? Like, isn't he the bad guy in the new Wonder Woman movie? Pretty sure he's.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so. He's one of the bad guys.
Too bad we'll never see that film.
Exactly. Wonder Woman 1984 is going to come out in 2084. It's going to take so long.
Didn't I tell you, Dan? I'm in Wonder Woman 1984.
Nice.
I'm in it. I'm just going to start telling people. Yeah, I'm starring in it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
You're Wonder Woman.
You're just going to have to take my word for it. It's never going to come out.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Star Wars Nerds. I'm Dan Vadabonker.
I'm Kenton Larson. Don't let the Force hit you on the ass.
Going into Toshi Station to pick